Hi there, my name is Shivani Jain, and I'm here to share with you how you can go about the somatic awareness lessons, which are based on the Feldenkrais method, to receive the most benefit. So listen in, and I think it will offer you some resources that when you go into the lessons, you'll have a sense of how to go about the lesson in order to have the most pleasurable experience. So I'll just highlight pleasure because when people think they're moving for pleasure, they think they're not getting it right. And that's part of the fact that we've been really conditioned to think that effort will increase the benefit. And unfortunately, that's not true. And if you realize that these classes are not like an exercise class, and they're not even like most yoga classes, that you're going to come into it without a goal, without feeling like there's anything to achieve, and you're going to lead into the lesson with your curiosity, because we never know really what benefits are going to come forward. We could be doing a lesson that would seemingly be something for your organization of your eyes, and yet you find that it's reduced the pain that you had in your lower back. I could give hundreds of examples of kind of this very mysterious way that the lessons reveal themselves and bring forth benefits. But essentially, I think it's enough to say that we are very connected. The neural net is connected. There's not a separation between your brain and your body. And wherever you go in and create change, it's going to influence everything else. So be curious about what the experience is unveiling for you. And the other thing to mention is that the lessons are not going to be visual. And this is sometimes a little bit challenging to adapt to, because our eyes are the most dominant sensory organ. So we rely upon them to orient through the world. And we probably rely on them a little bit more than is necessary. By doing so, by taking the visual out, it actually allows you to restore your felt sense awareness. So you're listening with your whole self, you're moving with your whole self, and you're feeling and sensing your way into the experience. And this goes back to how you came into this world. Each of us came in and we put all the elements of movement together to learn to roll, to learn to crawl, and to learn to walk. But none of us did it in the same way. And all of us did it through our feeling, sensing nature. So this is wonderful in the sense that I think it brings some balance to the conditioning that has us going into the world through our thinking and acting faculties. So we put the thinking, the acting, the feeling, and sensing together, and it really restores a sense of wholeness. And I think it brings us back to being more human beings than human doings. So enjoy that experiment with learning to listen and feel into the experience. And understand there's not a right or a wrong. So if you interpret what I'm saying in a different way one time and then hear it and you have a totally different interpretation the next time, that's all good. It just, again, there's not a right and there's not a wrong, and that's part of the process, and why I would encourage you to come back and listen to the lessons again, because there'll be details and subtleties and experiences that you'll have when you come to a lesson again and again, because each time we arrive, we're different. We're in a different state, and there's different parts of ourselves available at different times. So that says a lot about just coming in. You're moving with lightness, you're moving with ease, you're taking rest whenever you're feeling fatigued, even if you're hearing the guidance continue. When you're complete with the movement sequence, you get to sit back or lay back and let yourself be. We will repeat the lessons or the movement sequences. You'll repeat them several times or more, and again, important to really take that pause before you come back into the movement, so that you're approaching it with fresh eyes. Let's see, you'll find that we're playing with reversibility in the movements, we're playing with different variations. Again, if you can just be listening in to how you're going about a movement and what would make it easier and where can you reduce the effort and what's involved. It's a movement inquiry and very much a movement meditation, which if you find yourself going inward and having an experience of what I would call a very Zen moment, I encourage you to stay there and stay with that and just allow my voice or the lesson to trail off into the backgrounds. When you come to those places of I don't know, moments of awe, it's really kind of the gold mine of any somatic lesson, because you're tapping into an intelligence of yourself that's really greater than what I have to offer, to be honest. So enjoy those moments when they come about, and if you have any injuries or any discomforts in any of the movements, see if there's a way that you can move a little lighter, move a little slower, reduce the range of motion. See if there's a variation in how you're using yourself that can make the movement more comfortable. And then if you are continuing to have discomfort, then rest back. Take a long pause and let yourself come into your imagination, and you can use the cues to bring the movement into your mind's eye. You know, neuroscience has found that imagining a movement is as potent as actualizing the movement. So your nervous system is going to be getting the messages whether you're moving or not. So don't hesitate to take rest. There was a great teacher that used to say, rest is best. And you'll find that there's a lot of pauses in the lesson built in. And again, if we look at how we came into this world, we would eat, we would sleep, and then we would move, and then we'd sleep or eat again. And so your nervous system's rewiring. And so there's going to be moments that you're going to feel like you just need to step back and rest. And there may be moments where you're feeling really confused. And that's actually another hallmark that the lesson's really working for you, because when you're unwiring something and you haven't quite rewired something, there can be a state of confusion or disorganization. So that's also part of the process. So not to worry, again, that it will certainly pass. It gives you an opportunity to really see how you tend to yourself and how you can nurture yourself through change. We're moving for pleasure, and I think the only other thing I would mention is that you want to maintain a nice fluid breath throughout the movements. If, again, you're finding that you're holding your breath or you're moving with strain, or your breath is shallow or somehow being interrupted, then come back to smoothing out that nice, natural, fluid breathing rhythm, and then return to the movement. So your breathing rhythm is primary. It's really something that I think all of us need to take a little more time to restore the fluidity and the connection through the breath. And that will allow your movements to actually be more connected and, again, lighter and easier and more pleasurable. So this concludes my little introduction here. And again, I thank you for tuning in, and I hope that you enjoy the lessons.